Hello and welcome back to another episode of Unleashing Your Potential. I hope you're having a blessed and fantastic day wherever you're at in the world. And well, if you're not, well, you probably know you should and you could, right? But why is it that we don't? Well, there's a lot of wonder and a lot of mystery in the world, and we should be having a good day because there's a lot of things that we don't know and that we have the opportunity to learn. You know, this should be a reason that you should wake up and be ready to go. Because you have the opportunity to wake up, the opportunity to go. And we're going to talk about some things today that are going to maybe go into that little Twilight Zone area, but I just want you to bear with me. I'm going to talk about aliens. I'm going to talk about a personal experience that I had with aliens. Well, I can't say for sure that it was with aliens, but I'll explain the story and I'll let you judge for yourself what you think. And then throughout my life, over the course of my life, I've written a bunch of books, and in my books, I've written things that I go back later to read just to wonder, like, oh my God, did I actually write that? To where the knowledge that I've learned and things that I've come to understand, I don't know where it comes from. But I think I'm better beginning to understand. And so I'm going to share my story with you, and then I'm going to get into my theory of aliens. I hope you enjoy this podcast. I'm really excited to make it. I have a lot of real strong energy towards this subject, and it's something that's always kind of drawn at me, and I'm going to share it with you right now. I was about, I don't know, I want to say 10 or 11. I was pretty young. I was out walking a dog we had at the time. It was a Doberman Pinscher, and this dog was just a puppy. So I walked him down the same route that I would walk him down the street. There was a supermarket at the end of the street. And then halfway to the supermarket, there was like a billiards, a little arcade place. And as I'm walking and I'm starting to approach the arcade place from my house, I notice that my dog starts acting weird. He doesn't want to walk. He just wants to lay down and cry. And I'm just puzzled. Like, he usually loves going out for a walk. And I'm like, come on, what's wrong with you? And I'm pulling on him, and he's just kind of resisting me. And he's just laying down, and he's curled up, and he's crying, and he's looking straight up into the sky. And I'm thinking, what is wrong with this dog? So I go over to get him, and as I get him, and I see that he's just looking up, and just like if he's seen a ghost. So I turn up to look to see what he's looking at. And I see these 3 points of light in the sky, very high. It was like a triangle. You had the top point and the 2 end points, and they were just balls of light. I can't say what it was, other than it was scary. This was the feeling that I felt, was scary. I was scared. So immediately I picked up my dog because he wouldn't walk, and I started running as fast as I could. But why I didn't run home, I do not know. I ran towards the grocery store. I ran past the billiards place to the grocery store, and when I'm in the grocery store, not actually in it, but I'm in the parking lot, I'm trying to alert people of this thing that is flying above us that is not supposed to be there. And so as I'm trying to alert people in the parking lot, people pushing around and people pushing their baskets, people I know, I'm saying, look, look, look. And nobody's acknowledging me. The people I know act as if they're busy and they don't see me. The people I don't know don't even act like I'm there. And it's like, what is going on? So I take off running more with my dog. Now I'm still running farther away from my house, and I have yet to figure out why I'm running farther away from my house. But I remember a moment where I realize, wait a minute, you're going the wrong way. Your house is the other way. And in that moment, I turn around and I run all the way home. I run all the way home, carrying the dog. Nobody's listening to me. It's like, it's weird. Everything's weird. And I'm banging on my door and telling my mom, come here, you gotta see this. She probably doesn't even remember this, but I'm knocking on the door. Mom, you gotta see this. And she opens the door. Where were you? I had this dinner ready and you missed lunch. But, what do you, what? I had dinner ready and you already missed lunch. Where were you? My mother said. What do you mean? I was only gone 15 minutes. I just barely coming back. I unloaded these things in the sky. They were chasing me. There was nothing in the sky. Nothing. And I'm telling my mom, look at these things in the sky. I swear, Mom, there was these things in the sky. And I took the dog and we ran. And, I don't care, get inside, you gotta eat, it's late. I don't even think she heard me. It was 7 o'clock at night. A little past 7, 6, 7. It was 11:15 when I left. In the daytime. I have no idea what happened in that time. There's been other times in my life where I have lost bits and chunks of time. Nothing as strong as that memory. Other random things. Maybe some illusionary, some nah. And I've come to understand this on a much deeper understanding now. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to relate this, how this relates to aliens and alien existence. And I'm going to use metaphors when I speak so as to better understand my analogy of how these things work. Because it's not space travel as much as it is time travel. I'm going to explain what I mean by that. I want you to imagine, just actually, let's do this. Right from where you're at, I just want you to look around you. Okay? Now there's probably something around there that is either close to you or far away from you. Okay? Now I want you to imagine that if you walked to the thing that was far away from you, how long would it take you? Well, that answer could vary amongst a huge spectrum of answers because it would depend on how far away is the thing I'm walking to and how fast am I going. I couldn't get to that destination from where I'm at unless I transverse the space between me and my other point of destination. It's an easy analogy. Oh, I'm going to so and such place, is 2 hours away. Oh, I'm going to be flying, it's 4 hours. We use it all the time, but we're so oblivious to it. So to move in space is to actually move in time. There's no out there. It's already here. So let me explain further. So this analogy is fairly simple. We can understand that to move in space is to move in time. Depending on the speed is depending on the rate, the velocity of how fast we're going to get to a certain place. When we measure this by years, light years, hours, minutes, distance. How fast are we going? How slow are we going? All of these things matter in calculating ultimately that question, to the answer to that question. So, to travel in space is to travel in time. How would this, what does this have to do with aliens, you might be wondering? So Chris, that sounds cool, whatever. How does that have to do with aliens? Well, let's imagine this. I want you to sit in the middle of two mirrors, one behind you and one in front of you. Can you imagine this? Now there is space between you and the mirror in front of you, and there is space between you and the mirror behind you. And you can see your reflection in front of you, and you can see your reflection behind you. Now let's hypothetically say that where you're sitting at right now is a centralized local point of where you're conscious about. And the way I'm going to explain that further is I want you to imagine the ocean. At 5:48 a.m. there will be a ocean wave that will peak in southern Australia. At 5:48 a.m. there will be an ocean wave that will peak in Australia. What does that mean? That means that at 5:48 in Australia there will be a wave that will be created into a localized point that we call a wave. At 5:49 that wave will be no more. It is now part of the ocean. It is not localized in time and space. It is not localized in a place that I can put it in Australia at 5:48. It is non-localized once again as part of the ocean. Now let's go back to this alien theory. And I am right here, I am right now, and you have a mirror in front of you, and you have a mirror in back of you. And I want you to imagine that you are a localized wave, and so are your reflections. They are just as real as you, because if you weren't there, they couldn't be there. But you say, but it's me. But what if they're reflecting you? What if you are a reflection of something else? What would that mean? What would that mean? That would mean that if you are here, your future self is also there. Your past self is also there. And the self that could have been is over there. And it now it's going to get weird. Because I'm only using in the front and in the back, right? Let's say a past and a future. What if I put two mirrors on the side of you? What happens then? Now you have more of you. Slightly different, but the same. Existing in different spaces in time. Separated. What if I put a mirror close to you and a mirror far away from you? Which one is real? Well, they're all real. Because they all require you to be localized. So you can experience it. Does it make sense? So as you're localized and you can experience it, the other things can't be there. But are they really there? I don't want to confuse you, and I feel like I'm going to lose you. So what I want you to think about is this. You see a mirror in front of you. You see a mirror behind you. The mirror in front of you is you. The mirror behind you is you. We can't argue with that. It's a fact. Which one is the real? You could be debated. But for this example, we're going to assume that the you in front is just as real as the you in the middle, is just as real as you in the back. And each of these are representing a different time, a different reality. Now, imagine that you had mirrors on the side. Those represent another time, another reality. Imagine if you put two mirrors in a 45-degree angle crossing those timelines, and you would have another reality. And I could go on and so on and so forth. Now, how do these aliens come over here to this time? So simple. Because they know how to transverse non-localized space. They know how to transverse non-localized space. You see, we transverse non-localized space all the time, but we are completely unconscious of it. If I walk from here to the door, like I said when I started, and I'm just walking from here to the door, I don't even realize that that space is substance, is something there. And this is walking through the air. Because to be in space is to be in time. It's like a vacuum crossing each other. So the aliens, as we like to call them, are localized from another point of time, another point of space, that have learned how to travel through that space with intelligence to other localized realities from a non-localized perspective of movement. So they're here and they're not, because the ocean is the wave. At 5:49 it's the ocean. At 5:48 it's the wave, and at 5:49 it's the ocean. So when the alien decides that he wants to be here, he will localize himself at 5:48 in a point of focused reality, of will. There are things that we don't understand. Because to us it's mind-blowing to be here and to be there, but is it mind-blowing to see yourself in different mirrors and wonder, which one am I? Does your mind have that power to imagine that reality? Then you can have the power of your mind to see that they're not coming from anywhere up there, but they're already here. They've never been anywhere else. I hope that makes sense. I went on longer than I usually do, but I felt like this topic was a topic that I really needed to dig into, to understand that what we call alien, it's there because everything is here. Just like this podcast and 500,000 other podcasts are all crossing the same timelines of space and time, but they're all here. We can understand that an intelligence that knows how to travel in non-localized space and time is moving as a way of immersion into a higher form of knowing itself. The mystery is beautiful. It really is beautiful. And if you can open your mind to understand that you can be everywhere and you are everywhere, then there's nothing you have to fear because you've already died. You've already been reborn. It seems crazy. It seems crazy that that wave changes, but at 5:47, when this wave expires, at 5:49 another one will rise. And this is the heartbeat and the essence of the hum. The mighty hum of life. Why do you think things in nature follow patterns? The heart up, boop, 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 down, the beat, the rhythm. The ever-expanding oneness is right there. But it's been localized to waves at 5:48, 5:47, 5:49. So when it's visited by a intelligence that has learned how to move through non-localized time, we get things we don't understand. So we call them alien. They could easily call us an alien. So to say I know is to know nothing at all, as the great, I believe, Confucius or Socrates said. So this is my theory. But to know is to know nothing. And I believe that whatever is with us has always been with us. But our ability to localize this point through observation, through our own intelligence, will allow us to question the alternate wave in the other side of the ocean. If it landed out crashing into my wave, would I call it an alien? Or would I try to understand that at some point they both crash back into the ocean? See, this is the beautiful mystery of life. I hope I haven't confused you too much. I've rambled on for a long time. But I guess the key points to take away from what I'm saying today is to travel in space, is to travel in time. Remember, very important, to travel in space in the velocity and the speed and matter. And there is an intelligence that does know how to transverse timelines, and we call them aliens. And they are like mirrors of ourselves. If I were to see myself in the future or in the past or any other place in space and time, I couldn't say for sure which one is 100% real, because they're all localized like a wave in their reality. I hope you have a blessed and fantastic day wherever you're at in the world. And I want to take a moment to ask you to please like and subscribe if you haven't. And thank you for taking the time to listen to my episode on aliens. It's a topic dear to my heart, and I hope to make more about it. But it's one of those things that you have to do little bits at a time so it can sink in. Think about the mirrors. Think about yourself. Until next time, have a blessed day and thank you for listening.